Well, hey everyone, this is Lee Harper coming from the cab of Red Clay 1. Getting ready to do a ride along with Joe Martinez. He's the owner of Marisco's El Cuhhmaron here in Dalton, Georgia. I'm going to let him tell his story, but what I will tell you is if you're looking for really, really good food, there's no better place than to check out Joe's restaurant. My wife and I have eaten there a couple of times, and it is absolutely amazing. So we're getting ready to take off in the truck, and then Joe, welcome. Thanks for agreeing to ride along for the first official episode of Trash Talk with Lee.
Oh yeah, man, I'm honored. I'm honored, seriously.
Anyway, take a minute, introduce yourself, and then we'll get going.
Definitely. Well, first of all, thank you, man. I really appreciate the shout out to the restaurant. I'm so glad to hear that you and your wife enjoy eating there.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's delicious.
We haven't been open too long. We're going into our third year in business.
Okay.
But
well, I got to say, for restaurants, though, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Most restaurants fail, like, in the first year, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, the first year was definitely tough, and I'll get into that. But yeah, it was a learning experience for us, and here we are, still kicking, still trying to make things better.
That's awesome. But, take me back to the beginning, man.
Yeah,
I want to know, like where you were and like how you got here.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll introduce myself. Once again, Joe Martinez. I've been in Dalton since 1992. My parents moved us here from Phoenix, Arizona in '92.
Nice.
Grew up here. I'd say my entire life. I was about 7 when I got to Dalton.
Okay.
So I've got to see Dalton grow and transform into what it is now.
You said that was 92?
92.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I was 7 years old.
All right.
And as far as the restaurants goes, like where we got started, I've always had a love for cooking.
Okay.
It didn't really start that way because it started with my dad like forcing me to be in the kitchen, And
so was there a family business then, or
no? There wasn't. Just growing up, my dad was the one that cooked.
Okay.
My mom cooked as well, but my dad did most of the cooking.
I got you. I do most of the cooking in my house too.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true, babe. You know it's true.
No, yeah, man, and a lot of the guys in my family do the cooking. We enjoy it, and so my dad would have me in the kitchen peeling potatoes, peeling carrots, helping just prep or washing dishes. So
sure.
He always had me in the kitchen.
All the stuff that he didn't want to do.
Yes, exactly, man. And I didn't want to do it either, so I hated it as a kid.
Right.
But growing up, I started learning more, and I just got, I got this passion for cooking.
Okay.
I had more and more interest on cooking and grilling, and fell in love with like our food, Mexican food and Mexican cuisine.
What was your favorite thing to cook back then?
Oh man, favorite thing to cook was carne asada. Carne asada just on the grill.
Dude, I will eat steak every day of the week.
Yes.
Every day.
Exactly, so steak, and it's, if you're not familiar with carne asada, it's just like grilling a steak. I'd say the biggest difference is that it's sliced really thinly.
Okay.
So a lot of steak that we use is like skirt steak or flanks.
Sure, and it's marinated, right?
Yes, we marinate it.
Okay.
We marinate it for a good hour, sometimes 24, an hour to 24. Slap it on the grill.
That's all 24 hours?
Yeah.
That's gotta be amazing.
It comes out great. So I fell in love with that, grilling a lot of stuff.
Okay.
In our culture, it's fun to like see who makes the best guacamole. So I try to perfect the guacamole.
Hey, just so you know, that's the same thing in the white culture too.
Yeah. Okay, man. Oh man. No, yeah. And so me and my dad always had this competition, like, hey, my guacamole is better, or he'd tell me his guacamole was better.
Right.
But so I growing up, I had that passion for cooking, and I would cook for friends. I cook for family events, gatherings.
Right.
Getting into the workforce, I started cooking for my coworkers.
Okay.
And they really loved my food. They would tell me all the time, they're like, man, your food's great. You guys should open a restaurant. My dad would cook for them as well.
Okay.
I worked at Shaw Industries for 17 years.
Oh, nice.
And
What'd you do at Shaw?
I started in manufacturing, like on the plant level.
Okay.
And then slowly went into other roles like safety and training.
My senior year of high school, I worked at Shaw Plant 6.
Okay.
I started as a kriller. I did that for a few months. And everybody that krills wishes they didn't krill. And so then I moved over to driving a pole heister.
Yeah.
I did that for a little while.
Yeah, man. It's definitely tough work. And I worked in the mill as well. And I actually worked at Plant 6 for a little bit.
Okay, nice.
And shortly, I'd say like a year or two after I was there, I went into like safety and training.
Okay.
Then after that, I went into recruiting, and I stayed in recruiting for several years. I was there over 10 years.
So were you the guy walking around checking for safety shoes and eyeglasses?
Yeah, I was, man.
Okay. Okay.
People hated me.
Those guys are important, though. Listen,
yeah.
OSHA, you don't want OSHA
Yeah.
walking in and catching that.
Yeah, man. So it was fun. I did enjoy it. You know, I enjoyed what I did, and I was at Shaw like up until 2023, April 2023.
Oh, wow, not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. You know, as I guess we'll rewind. You know, we'll go back to COVID.
Yep.
When COVID hit, we started working from home. So I found myself like working and cooking a lot more.
Okay.
And I was just cooking, you know, grilling almost every day, cooking and
just
making,
for your family?
Yeah, just for me, you know, because at the time I was single, living by myself.
You gotta eat.
Yeah. So I'd set up my laptop. Sometimes I work outside on the patio.
Okay.
I'd be grilling, you know, and working and so that's kind of where it started. You know, we had this. I found like this more free time at home.
Sure.
And started exploring like, hey, you know, I see all these other people doing side hustles during COVID.
Right.
Because they were working from home. And I said, hey, you know, maybe I could do something as well.
Okay.
So I started exploring doing a restaurant. You know, I said, okay, let's take a look at doing a restaurant. I had never done a restaurant in my life. I'd never operated, never sold anything. I had family that had restaurants.
Okay.
But I didn't really have I'd say like a solid relationship with them.
Right.
So where I could say, hey, you know, teach me the ropes or, you know.
No, I get what you're saying.
It was more like, you know. So I started exploring, man, and really just started teaching myself and learning and getting obsessed with learning about a restaurant and learning about cooking and dishes. And that's kind of where it started. So one day during COVID, my dad and I, we cooked a meal for a few friends.
Okay.
And
I have to know, what was the meal?
Yeah. So we cooked seafood, mariscos.
Oh.
And the reason is,
of course,
during COVID, man, we were like, my dad was cooking steak on the grill. I was cooking steak on the grill.
Okay.
People were cooking steak on the grill. We were always we were eating a lot of meats, a lot of steaks, a lot of chicken on the grill.
Listen, I tell my wife all the time, all I need is a piece of grilled meat and some vegetables, and I'm set. That's all I need.
I really did, man. I thought the same thing. I was like, man, this is life. You know, we're eating grilled steak every weekend. We're eating a lot. And I told my dad, like, man, you know what? I never thought I'd say this, but I'm really getting tired of steak.
Oh,
like,
no.
You know, I said, I'm really getting tired of steak.
So that's where the seafood comes in.
That's where seafood comes in. I said, you know, let's make some seafood. Let's make some seafood dishes. Where my mom's family is originally from Mexico. They're from a coastal state, Sonora. Sonora, Mexico. It's on the border of Arizona. It's next to Baja California.
Okay, gotcha.
So growing up in Arizona, we'd go to Phoenix. We lived in Phoenix, and we'd go down to Sonora.
Okay.
We'd go down to a place called Puerto Peñasco, also known as Rocky Point, Mexico. It's a coastal town.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. We have family there as well.
Okay.
So we'd go there, you know, all the time and eat the food on the beaches.
Yep.
So that food, we just miss it. You know, we actually cook that a lot. So that's where it came in, and I told my dad, hey, let's make some food like this. Let's invite some people over.
Yep.
And we made ceviches. We made aguachiles. Aguachile is like a spicy ceviche.
Dude, there's nothing better than a good ceviche.
Yeah, man.
There really isn't.
Yeah, we love it, man. And fresh. It's so fresh, light, you know.
It feels like I'm eating healthy. Even though, I mean, it is, but at the same time, like, when you're eating the entire bowl and a bunch of chips, it's not really, but it's hard not to eat it all.
Yeah, man. You can start with the bowl and then throw in a few chips later.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. No, I'm with you, man. And so we made that. We made some fish on the grill. We made, just a number of dishes, man. So we prepped everything. We invited some friends over the next day. And the next day, our friends were eating this food, and they were just telling us, like, man, this is so good. You know, this is so delicious. Like, you guys need to do something. You guys need to open a restaurant.
Okay.
And I think when you cook, people probably tell you that, you know.
Right.
I'm sure people tell you, oh, man, this is so good. Have you ever thought of opening a restaurant? So I heard that for several years of my life, but I never really believed it. I was like, yeah, you know, whatever. Sure, thanks, you know. But I started to believe it. I was like, okay, you know what? I did a little market study here in Dalton, and I started researching. I said, okay, well, you know, we got a really dense Hispanic community. We got that love this type of food, mariscos. But on the other end, we have a community that's non-Spanish speakers, that maybe don't know this food. So in Dalton at the time, we had one mariscos place. Shout out to Mariscos Vallarta, Caesar and his team, really great people.
Where's that at?
They're on 41. They're on 41.
Nice.
Yeah, they're in the Triangle building.
I don't think I've been there. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they're real good, man. They're the OGs of mariscos here in Dalton.
All right.
Yeah, so they've
been. Do we need to have a Marisco's cook-off?
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
Yeah, we should do
That'd
a
be great.
Marisco's
Yeah,
cook-off.
I love their fish ceviche. So I go. You know, we don't have fish ceviche right now at the restaurant.
Right
So
now.
I go.
I
Yeah,
heard that
yeah,
right now.
yeah, man. I go to Caesar's place and
Market research.
Yes,
Market
yes,
research.
yeah, man. But their food's great.
Okay.
So they've been around a really long time, and at the time they were the only ones.
Okay.
So I thought to myself, I said, you know, we got a bunch of taquerias, we got a bunch of Mexican spots.
Yeah.
I think we have the market for another Mexican seafood spot.
Okay.
So that's where it kind of started, and after that weekend that we sold, not that I'm sorry, let me back up. After that weekend that we had our friends over and
Okay.
shared this food with them, the very next weekend I said, hey, you know what? Let's post something on Facebook. Let's sell some food.
Oh.
So we just narrowed down 3 items, posted
Okay.
on Facebook, and we had a great response.
Okay.
Like people started messaging us. They started placing the orders. They showed up. We sold out. We sold out within like 3 hours of
Dude,
selling
that's
food on
amazing.
the weekend. Yeah. And
So what was your first big move?
yeah.
Like to get into like the actual restaurant?
Yes. So I did that selling from home for about 8 months.
Oh wow.
And
Now were you doing that full time or just like
just
in between
the
Shaw?
weekends. Yeah, in between Shaw. I
Okay.
was working at Shaw, and I would prep everything Friday nights, Saturdays, and we would sell Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
You know,
Got it.
so my entire weekend I gave it up. I stopped going out, started doing things like that. But so I put that on pause after 8 months
Okay.
because we went back to work. I went back to the office.
Yep.
And I found myself a little bit more limited with time.
Sure.
And then COVID, I guess the restrictions have been lifted, so people's like behaviors have changed.
Right.
People were going out more.
Oh yeah.
They weren't really eating from home as much or
Yeah.
ordering.
So they wanted to go out to a restaurant instead of
Yes.
picking up and going home and
Yes, yeah, that was
eating. I
changing.
get that. You mean you've
Yeah.
been locked up for however long?
Oh
and
yeah,
You want some freedom.
yes, definitely, man. So we saw that, and then I put a little pause on it, and I said, okay, you know, I'm gonna scale back a bit because for some reason I got to the point where I needed to stop and plan, restructure.
Okay. Yeah.
So man, I took that was 2020
Okay.
into 2021. We took a pause, and then I started just kind of working on looking for a building. You know,
Okay.
working on learning about the business, learning about the restaurant,
Yep.
doing market research, going to other seafood spots here in Dalton and outside of town.
How many?
You know?
How many months would you say you prepped and planned
Yeah.
like before you actually opened? Like,
Yeah,
how long
man.
was that?
Oh man, prepped. I'd say a little over a year. You
Yeah.
know, a little over a year.
I believe that.
prepping,
I believe
and getting everything together and building. You know, I had a notebook.
Isn't it funny? People just
Yeah.
think you open the doors one day and you got
Oh
a restaurant.
man, it's wild, man. There's so much to it. Like I had a notebook, and you know, and I had like sections of notebook, and like for example, one section was the menu.
Yep.
You know, I had all my menu ideas and food items, and every item, every ingredient that I needed to build this menu. I had cup sizes,
Okay.
plate sizes, plate cost, napkin cost,
Yeah.
to go
It's every
cost,
little
bag
thing,
cost,
yeah.
everything. I had another page with all the providers. You know, so
What about like then like you got
Yeah.
regulations like health
Yes.
department, like all that kind of stuff.
yeah, licenses. I had another section with all licenses.
Yep.
You know, and rules and things like that. And a lot of this I didn't learn on my own, man. I had a lot of help. You know,
Okay.
a lot of people here in Dalton in the community helped me. You know, like
Sure.
I reached out to them. I'd say, hey, you know, I'm starting my business. I don't know where to get the alcohol.
Right.
You know, can you give me a list of providers? You know, and so shout out to Myra and Victor from Magaña's Liquor.
Okay.
They gave me the list of providers. You know,
Nice. That's awesome.
when I was first opening.
That's the one thing I will tell you.
yeah.
Like I grew up here.
Yeah.
I graduated from Northwest High School in
Okay.
2001.
Yeah.
Moved away from college and never came back
Yeah.
until this past year. I've been back for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And since coming back and starting my own business, the one thing that I've like been blown away by, to your point,
Yes.
is the support of the community.
Yeah, man.
There's so many people out there that are really supporting everyone because everybody wants everybody to be successful.
Yes.
So
Definitely, man.
that's been so refreshing, you know, as a local kid that moved away and came back, and people are, you know,
Yeah.
still willing to help out.
Yeah, man. And you know, touching on that subject, Lily and Junior from Bedia Bros, they helped us a lot too. They had already
Okay.
opened. Yeah.
I love Burrito Bros.
Yeah, man. They're great.
I've introduced Burrito Bros. I was introduced to it a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
I came back for a friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
He took me there for lunch.
Yeah.
And I've been obsessed ever since.
man.
And now I've introduced other people to it.
Yeah.
That stuff is amazing.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff. We really like their corn.
Yeah.
We like their corn, and we like their Bedia as well. Cheese dip. Their cheese dip is great.
Yep.
I mean, they got a lot of
Oh, yeah.
great food, man.
Oh,
They-
yeah.
They got a lot of great food.
I've never had a bad
Yeah.
meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
man.
like I've never had a bad meal at your
Yeah,
place. I've
thank
never
you,
had a
brother.
bad meal.
Thank you, man. And no, but they they helped us as well, man. Like I had a conversation with Junior and Lily several times about staff, like I guess creating a wage for your staff, things like that. We had that conversation with them. Viviana and Carlos Ramirez and their team over at D Food Collab. You know, they allowed us
great restaurant.
Yeah, they allowed us before we even opened to set up shop there in their parking lot during one of their festivals.
Like a food truck type deal?
Well, we didn't sell any food. We were just sharing information, like our menu and you know, our location, letting people know that we were there, that we were coming soon.
Got it.
So, you know, the big help as well. I mean, there's a number of people. I'm trying to just think of the folks that
it's
helped
hard
us,
to
man.
remember everybody. I get that.
Karina from Sol de Mayo.
Oh, yeah.
Huge help, man. Huge help. Let us walk through her kitchen, you know, gave us ideas like how to set up the kitchen, what we needed. Karina from Antojo as well, you know, helped us on, reviewed our kitchen and gave us a few tips on the health inspector, you know, like having your kitchen set up for getting a 100.
Sure.
She had scored a 100, and I was like, hey, you know, I want to make sure we do the same.
That's right.
So, you know, but there's a number of people that helped us, man, but that was before opening. So that was a year before securing the building. So I'd say in total, took us a little over 2 years planning. And then opening.
That's amazing.
So 1 year, a little over 1 year was just building everything out, planning, getting the notebook together, and then we took a year to find a building. So another year
was that just like you were waiting for the right building to open, or you?
Yeah, at first when we first decided, I wasn't married yet. I was single at the time. I was out in the streets, you know, and then I started dating my wife. So during this time. And she told me, she's like, hey, you know, I know you're working on this restaurant. Like, you know, I think you should, if you're going to do it, you should go all in. You know, I really believe in you. You know, you've been in the U.S. your entire life. You know, you know this country, you know your city, you know your market. I really think you should go all in. Because at first I was looking for something really small. I was looking for something maybe 800 to 1,000 square feet.
Oh, yeah. Tiny.
Yes. I was looking for something small. And I was looking, man, every time I get out of work at Shaw, and I kid you not, I would leave Shaw, you know, and I'd go drive around. I'd drive around Morris Street. I'd drive around Cleveland, Walnut, shopping centers,
everywhere,
downtown, everywhere looking for a building. I would make my rounds looking. And I'd find a few. I just didn't land on anything. Finally, you know, I'd say February of 2023, I found the building that we're in now. You know, there was a business in there before.
I'll say, you got such a perfect location.
Yeah, man. I absolutely love it, man.
That's a blessing right
absolutely love it. Yes. And I had my eye on the building for a bit. I just didn't know what was in there. I wasn't really sure if there was a business in there or not. And yeah, I heard the building.
What year would that have been?
That was 2023.
23?
Yeah. I'm sorry, no, 2022.
22?
Yes. When I found the building. And so I walked in around February 2022. And I said, man, you know, I love it. I told the building owner, I said, let's do it. Let's make it happen. You know,
I like it.
So I said,
by the way, good on your wife to telling you to go all in, because the thing that I've learned, like, if you're going to do something, you got to go all in.
Yes, man.
Because if you just half-ass it, you're not going to. It's not going to be what you want.
Yeah. And talking about going all in, man, like, before I did all this, before I did the restaurant and all, the biggest thing that helped me was. Well, one of the biggest things was I didn't have any money. You know, I had no capital. I had a little bit.
I know what that's like.
Yeah. I had a little bit. During COVID, you know, we were allowed to pull out our 401k and all without penalties and things like that.
Oh, nice.
So that's what I did, man. I pulled out my 401k. All that money I took and I invested it in the house that I was in. And then I flipped that house. I sold it. You know, so I sold the house. I moved in with some friends. Shout out to my friend Robert. Shout out to my friend Santi. I moved out with them. Live
you
with
gotta
them.
have your boys, man.
Yeah, man.
You gotta have your boys.
Yeah, I had never lived with roommates, you know, so that was a new experience for me. And
was it a good experience?
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. We had great times.
I've had several roommates, and sometimes it can be questionable.
Yeah. No, it was great, man. They were great guys. They're both great guys. Super hardworking, both dedicated, disciplined. I've learned a lot from both of them. And they both inspired me as well to do better and to open my business.
That's awesome, man.
So they're great friends, man.
You gotta
great
have friends like that. I've got several friends in my life that have helped me get to where I am today.
Yes. My friend Robert, he's been an entrepreneur for a long time. Santi, he's been a coach for a long time. So they both have this very disciplined mindset. You know, and it helped me learn as well.
Okay.
I have another group of friends, the Moras. They're here in Dalton, and they're
Okay.
hard workers as well.
Okay.
All disciplined, all college graduates, and so they're really great influences. But going back, man, sold the house, sold my car, sold all my belongings, and used that money to help fund the restaurant.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, man, when you're new, you can't get a loan.
Listen,
it's tough.
I know. So I'll tell you, a similar situation.
Yeah.
I moved back to Dalton for a job, thinking, because I'd moved around a lot. My family and I, we've moved 6 or 7 times in the last 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
All because of work.
Yeah.
Now, one of those, like I moved 5 times with one company.
Okay.
So a job brought me back here, and the money we made selling our house to move here, we were going to buy another house, right?
Okay.
But now all that money is getting used to start a business.
Okay, man.
So I know it. So we're renting now. We've never rented before.
Yes.
But we're doing what we got to do, right?
Yeah, man. Definitely. We're in the same boat. We're renting now.
I promised my wife I want to build her a house.
Yes.
I got to be successful.
You will, man. You will. And that's the same thing we did. We went all in. Like when we opened the restaurant, a lot of people don't know this. Like we did not have. I'm not gonna say how much, but it was very little.
Yeah.
We had in our checking account.
Okay.
All our credit cards were maxed out.
Yep.
We I got a personal loan. I maxed out all my credit cards. She maxed out her credit cards because we put it all in. Like initial investment was quite a bit, for doing something this size.
I mean, the building.
Yeah.
The build out to make it look the way you want.
Yeah, man.
Like supplies.
Yeah.
Like that stuff adds up fast.
Yeah, man, it does. And I'm telling you, man, I had no idea. I thought, what I went into it with, I needed double. What I went into it with, So
it seems to always happen that way.
Yeah. But it's been great, man. It's been a great experience.
So obviously you've been open 3 years now.
Yes, we're going into our 3rd year.
Going into your 3rd year.
Yes.
Things seem pretty successful.
Yes,
But that build up, what would you say is like? Did you have like what you remember as like a worst day, like where you almost like hung it up and like said I can't quit?
Oh yeah. There was it wasn't necessarily worst days. It was just so tough, man. Like the first year, my wife and I would be there. We'd be there, I'd say like 16 hours, 18 hours a day.
So the thing, for those that don't know, the way I met Joe was at a networking event.
That's right.
And you kind of told a little bit of your story there. And the thing that caught my attention was you mentioned that, hey, y'all slept in the restaurant a few times or whatever.
Yeah.
So, take me through that.
Yeah, definitely. So, learning to operate a restaurant, we had never done this,
Right.
So, I when we opened, I focused on the kitchen side. My wife focused on the front of house.
Okay.
So, she was learning as we went as well. We were learning how to manage our staff, learning how to navigate.
So is she full-time with the restaurant also?
She is. Yeah, okay. She is. So, she's there more in the daytime. I'm there more on the nighttime and the weekends.
Got it.
We have a 4-year-old son, so she spends more time at the house and taking care of him.
That makes sense.
And then I spend more time at the restaurant.
Got it.
So we help each other out that way, man, and it works. It works for us. Yeah. But yeah, man, the first year, tough, man, tough. Like I'm telling you, blood, sweat, and tears. That's true. That is true. It is definitely a part of opening. Or managing a new business and opening a new business.
Right.
But the hardest time, there was a point where we just looked at each other. I think we were just so tired, man. We were working 16-hour days, 18-hour days, and we had fallen asleep at the restaurant.
Okay.
After a night of closing.
Yep.
And the next morning, we kind of woke up. We were like surprised. I was like, "Oh my gosh, we fell asleep here." And I said, "Hey, baby, like, are you sure you want to keep doing this?
Right.
Like, if you don't want to do this." I'm not gonna, I don't want to put you through this. We can do something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I can focus on this. You could do something else. And she's like, no, we're already in. Let's keep going. So
sounds like you got a good woman.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely a blessing, brother. I mean, I'm telling you, like, that was kind of the spark that made me go all in.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do something, and like I said, I was gonna do something small, but she's the one that said, hey, you know what? I think you could. Okay. I know it has potential to be big.
I tell you what, I've been married for almost 21 years.
Oh wow, man! Well, congratulations, brother.
I appreciate it. Big. But the support I get from my wife, I couldn't do it if it wasn't for her. So that kind of support is. Yeah. I mean, you can't put a price on it.
No, definitely, man, definitely. And I forgot my train of thought. I'm like,
no, you were talking about. You were asking your wife, do you really want to do this after sleeping?
Oh yes. So that was tough, man. It was tough because when we first opened, we were open till 3 a.m.
Okay.
You know, on the weekends.
Oh wow.
We were open till 3 a.m. on the weekends.
Partying hard.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were open till 3 a.m. By the time we got out of there, it was probably 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And then we go home, sleep, do it all over again.
Okay.
You know, we'd be there at 11 a.m. because that's when we opened for lunch.
Got
You know, it takes a toll on you if you're not getting a lot of sleep.
Physically, mentally,
yes.
I mean everything.
Yes, man. Yes.
I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good, brother.
That light changed on me quick.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Good. This is why we signed the waiver, guys.
Yes. Yeah. There was no traffic, by the way.
Yeah.
It was just
it was a light change real fast. It was good.
But so the first year we were open to 3 a.m. and we were learning the business. We were seeing that type of business being open till 3 wasn't really. We learned that it wasn't really what we wanted to do.
Okay.
So we scaled back the second year.
Okay.
Immediately, you know, January 1st, we decided, okay, we're gonna stay open till 1 a.m.
Yep.
And we're just gonna be full service restaurant.
Okay.
You know, sell food till 1 a.m. and then last call at 12:45, close, and that works. That works a lot better for us.
And is that your Friday, Saturday hours?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, we stay open till 1.
Okay.
During the week, we stay open till 10 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, full kitchen. You know, kitchen stays open. Everything.
Dude, till 1 o'clock on Friday, Saturday.
Till 1 o'clock Friday, Saturday.
I did not know that, but I will tell you, I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
And there are several times where I've been like, I really want some food, but I don't know what's open.
Yeah.
But now I know.
Yeah, man.
I didn't realize.
Yes. So we get quite a few people that come in. You know, they're looking for a late night bite. Families, they come with their babies, kids.
Oh,
so
sure.
Friday, Saturday after 10, we dim the lights a bit, turn the music up.
Okay.
So it does change the environment.
I get a little vibe.
Yeah, definitely, man. And people like it. You know, our customers that are coming and spending time with us after 10 on Friday and Saturday, they enjoy it. You know, we're getting good feedback. During the day, still same family environment. You know, music's a little lower, lights are on, things like that. Full kitchen, full service. So we started as a counter service restaurant, and I like I said, you know, as we learned, we went evolving. You know, we went making changes.
So are you full service now?
We're full service, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, full service, yeah.
So what? I know there has to be, like, your proudest moment, like.
Oh yeah.
Over the, you know, I don't know. There's got to be the one thing I have to imagine that you look back on. You're like, got a lot of pride about it. What would that be?
I'd say getting out of debt. You know, like
there you go.
Yeah, getting out of debt, man. The first year, one of my buddies, Alex from Alex, he has a.
He owns a lot of stuff. Right?
Yeah, he owns a lot of stuff.
Like the nightclub.
Yes.
I met Alex.
Yeah. So
as a hustler, man.
Yeah, definitely.
He's doing big business.
So he told me, you know, when I opened, he said, "Hey, man, my advice: save your money. You know, like save your money." And that's one thing I learned in the first year. I didn't save my money. You know, and I wasn't. It's not. I didn't save it because I was spending it. I was just paying off debt very aggressively.
I see what you're saying.
So when we got into the slower season, you know, like any new restaurant does, I was like, man, I really wish I hadn't paid off my debt so aggressively.
Right.
So I'd say that going back, if I did something again, I would be a little bit more strategic about paying off my debt, because your debt's debt. It's going to be debt. You know, I mean, I think it's more now. I've learned I'd rather put that more money towards operating than paying off debt.
Okay.
You know, but my proudest moment is saying that's one of them, paying off a lot of our large debt.
Yep.
Like all those credit cards we maxed out, the personal loans, things like that. You know, that's got
to be a good feeling.
Yes, definitely, man.
Because I know when you're in the middle of it, it's a what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, man. Yes. That's one. And then just man, it's tough to say right now. You know, I've never given it much thought about what my proudest moment is.
Okay.
That's one of them. But the other one is, I'd say seeing the response that we've gotten from the community.
Okay.
Seeing people come in and just enjoy our food and tell us that they enjoy it and you know, wish us the best of luck.
Right.
That really makes me feel great, man. It really does. Like, because that's what we want. You know, it's yes, we're in business to make money.
Sure. But
the other piece is we want to be a solid part of the community. You know, we want people to enjoy what we do. We want people to enjoy having us in the community.
Right.
So I'd say that, man. I'd say just the support we're getting is one of our.
I got to tell you, I mean, I just you know met you a couple weeks ago when you hosted the Latino networking event, and it was obvious that you've got the love of the community.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Anytime your name comes up in conversation at other networking events, it's nothing but how amazing Joe is.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you,
you
man.
guys are doing it right for sure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I really appreciate that, man. I've always told my wife, like, man, you know, I'm not one to like love feedback like that, you know,
Right.
but I take it and I like it, man. I think I owe a lot of, you know, my success first of all to God. You know, definitely God.
Absolutely. Man.
We go to Cross Point here in Dalton.
Okay,
that's
nice.
a great church.
I go to Rockbridge.
Oh yeah, okay, man. Yeah. Definitely,
see
brother.
each other sometime.
Yeah, my parents go to Rockbridge.
Okay, which location?
In downtown.
That's where we go.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they're going to downtown.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. So my parents go to Rockbridge. I go
Maybe
to
I'll
Cross
see
Point.
your dad.
Yeah, man.
Lupe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see him again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they go there, and but yeah, man. Definitely, I owe everything that I have to God and my parents. You know, like they raised me to work for everything I have. Like my dad, I hated it. You know, my dad had me working since I was 14. Like you know, I worked.
I get it.
Yeah. Construction, you name it.
Listen, my first
landscaping,
first like job, if you want to call it that, was working with my grandfather.
Okay.
And he finished sheetrock.
Okay.
So not the guy that went in and would hang all the sheetrock, but
the guy that left dusty.
The guy that I mean, being in the middle of the summer in a house with no air circulation.
Yeah.
You're in there, dusting, you're sanding.
Yeah, man.
The putty spots.
Yeah.
And like. You're just breathing all that in. You get home and at the end of the day, you just blow your nose.
Yeah.
It's all white and stuff. And I'm confident we should have been wearing masks, but we didn't.
Yeah, I can totally relate because I did that job as well, man.
Yeah.
I did that job as well.
That's a tough job.
Yeah,
that's a tough job.
Yeah.
Is there Is there anything you wish you would have known going into starting a restaurant?
Yeah. I know that there are. So I said securing a loan is difficult, being new when you don't have any sales.
Yep.
But it is possible.
Okay.
It is possible. So now I know that you can get a loan, and you can get a small business loan, and you can get help. I would say you just need the right guidance and the right plan to execute it. So biggest thing is having a solid business plan.
Okay.
And being able to show and sell your idea and sell your business plan basically.
Yeah.
To a bank or an organization that's going to lend you the money at a good interest rate.
Yeah. And for those listening, I know back whenever I was younger and thinking about starting a business and like, I got to do a business plan.
Yeah,
it sounds like a daunting task. Like I don't know how to, like a business plan. What does that
yes.
mean? But guys, we live in 2025 now.
Yeah,
and AI
can
write you a business plan in 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, it helps.
And you can tweak it to make it fit what you're looking for. But I'm just saying that. Don't let the thought of a business plan scare you, because it scared me when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now with the new AI tools and everything, there's a lot of help out there for those.
Yeah. And not only that, but if you are looking to build your own business, just do a simple search for how to build a business plan. Will lead you to the right spot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, it'll lead you to the right spot. And as you're building your business plan, you learn more about your business, and you're like, okay, I didn't know I had to do that. I didn't know how to do that. This actually helps. Yeah,
absolutely.
So building that business plan out is going to just help your business.
Yeah, the more planning you put into something, the better it's going to be.
Yes, definitely.
And I've always been kind of a fly by the seat of your pants guy. But when it comes to something like this, you really got to put in the time and the attention and the detail to make sure you're doing it right.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say, like, just touching on the subject about loans, if you can do it without getting a loan, definitely go that route.
Oh yeah.
If you can do it without getting a loan, do it, because you're going to save money on the interest.
Sure.
But if you can't, and you can't find a good loan, I mean, my advice would be take that leap of faith. You know, if you believe in yourself and you believe and you're going to work every day and you're going to be there and you know that your success depends on you and only you and your family, then take that leap of faith and get that loan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
man.
dude,
Yeah.
Your story's amazing.
Thank you, brother.
I genuinely appreciate you, sharing it with me and everybody else.
Sure thing, man.
So the way that I want to end my podcast, is the last thing I want to touch on is like kind of the one piece of advice. If you could go back to your younger self, or someone else is thinking about getting into a restaurant or whatever, like what's the one piece of advice that you would give, or you wish you could give to yourself back in the day?
Yeah, definitely. That's something I've thought about a lot.
Okay.
I always tell my wife and I tell other people, I said, do it now. Like,
Okay.
don't wait. Whatever it is you're doing,
Yeah.
just Nike it. Do it. Just do
Yeah.
it. Seriously.
Okay.
Just do it now, because had I done, there were several times in my past when I was younger that I wanted to do something like this, that I wanted to buy a property, that I wanted to buy a house,
Okay.
that I wanted to invest in something,
Yeah.
and I didn't because I was scared.
Yeah.
You know,
Same,
or because
man.
I didn't
Same.
know. So that fear, it stopped me from researching. That fear stopped me from looking into it.
Right.
That fear stopped me from asking other people, how do I get this done? And it delayed my growth. It delayed my success. It delayed me learning. You know, there were a lot of projects I did in the past that failed. You know, so there were other business projects that I did that I invested money in that I lost money. You know, I
Okay.
failed in.
Sure.
But I was always trying to look for something. But I'll say, like, I never took that full leap of faith. So
Okay.
I'd say, like, whatever it is, whatever business you have, just start. If it's pressure washing, start. Get a customer. Get two. If it's
Man.
washing cars, start.
Dude, Joe,
Yeah.
I feel like we're
Yeah.
kindred spirits, because
Yeah, man.
the one thing I will
Yeah.
tell, like,
Yeah.
the piece of advice that I always tell people
Yeah.
is just start.
Yeah.
Because so many people worry about where to start.
Yes.
I don't know where to start. I don't know where to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you start.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And then it'll fall into place.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, dude.
We
yeah.
just opened the restaurant, man. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, we opened the restaurant the day we opened, February 24th of 2023.
Okay.
We opened with 3 items on the menu, and we went adding items week after week as we learned. You know,
What were those first 3 items?
it was ceviche,
Okay.
Mexican shrimp cocktail,
Okay.
and aguachile, which is like a
nice.
spicy ceviche.
Yeah.
You know, so we went adding. You know, every week, went growing the menu.
And how many items are you up to now?
We're up to like 65 items.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your favorite menu item?
The fried fish tacos.
Fried fish
Fried fish tacos, man. They're delicious.
Well, guess what I'm going to do when I get back to your restaurant?
Yeah.
I'm going to eat some fried fish
All right,
tacos
man.
for lunch, because I haven't had breakfast
Yes,
yet.
sir. All right, brother. We'll take care of you. Yes, sir.
That sounds
Yeah, man.
awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, dude, that's all I've got
All right,
for this. Is there anything else you want to share?
No. I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you thinking of us and inviting me to be the first guest on your podcast.
If you know anybody else you think should do this with me, I'm looking for new people to ride along. So,
all right, man.
Pass my name along.
Yeah.
Let me
Definitely,
know.
man.
I'd love to do that.
Definitely, man. It's a great experience. I mean, if you want to be a part of it, definitely holler at our boy Lee.
Thank you.
New business owner. You want to talk a little bit about your?
Yeah, I mean, well. So I am going to put out, I guess it'll be like my intro episode for the YouTube, where I kind of talk about myself or whatever. But yeah, I mean, Red Clay Waste Solutions is the name of my business, and right now we're roll-off dumpsters.
Okay.
So we have 4 sizes: 10, 15, 20, and 25 yard. So from a small clean out project to some bigger construction type stuff, I can I can help people out.
Okay, man.
But yeah, we're relatively new in the area, but like I had mentioned earlier, I grew up here, and
that's right.
I just love hearing people's stories.
Yeah,
so as soon as I got the business up and running, I spent a lot of time on my truck.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what if I just ride along and talk to people with it? So that's how we got here.
It's great, man. I really enjoyed it. Like, we're getting some really great views, chatting it up.
It's just like 2 buddies riding along.
Yeah, man. It's a great experience.
So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be posting information about the YouTube channel. It'll be Trash Talk with Lee. I'll get that link out there so people can, like and subscribe. And my goal is to put out 1 new episode a week for now. So until the next time, this is Red Clay out.